Hey traders, Raghee here, and I want to walk you through a quick couple minutes of what I love most about the Simpler Trading Scanner. And it's my favorite section, and if this were the only section in the scanner, for me, it would be enough. And it's the color-coded, easy to read, simple to scan MTFA scanner. That's the multiple time frame analysis scanner. The reason I love this is, number one, it scans, of course, multiple time frames. And this is really important for anyone who considers themselves a short-term trader or a long-term trader. You know, you can scan according to your preference for time frame, which I think is so important. So that's number one. Number two, this is the way I use the scanner, and I call this the contrast scan. Now, the reason I call it the contrast scan is because I'm looking at the long-term, the daily, which is the column all the way to the left, and I'm comparing it with the short term, which are the two columns to the right. So that means that I'm really focusing in on if there's red here on the left, meaning we have a downtrend or a squeeze that's recently fired off or that's preparing to fire off. If I have red here, I want green here, and vice versa. If I have green here, I would prefer to see red, something like what we see a little bit in corn. I don't mind the neutral, which is what we have here, but I prefer to see green versus red, red versus green. So let's go through this list and I'll show you what I mean. The other reason I love the MTFA scanner is because I'm not only a stock and options trader and ETF trader, but I love looking at futures. And of course, I love looking at currency. So I really get I get to cast a very wide net with the market on this particular tool, on the scanner. So let's scroll down to, for example, the ETFs. And I want to see contrast, meaning I want there to be weakness here and strength there. Now, I don't see contrast today. So you might say, and this is a current look at it. So you might say, all right, everything's heading down. Today's a follow-through day. If I'm a momentum trader, this is the kind of environment that I want to see. Momentum trades mean I am just coordinating right across the board. And I'm even seeing squeezes fire off short term, which tells me as the market's heading down, I'm getting a little bit of consolidation and then continuation. That's a really good look at a momentum market. But what about a correction market? A correction market's going to look a little bit more like perhaps gold is right now, a little bit of pre-squeeze, but weakness, meaning that I'm really ultimately looking for a buy, but I'm getting the weakness now that might lead me to a support level that I can then buy from. So the contrast here is strength here, weakness here. That's a really simple way to take advantage of corrections or retracements. Dow would be doing the same thing. The market's saying, yeah, overall, we're looking down, but we might be seeing a pre-squeeze that tells me that the market could be going sideways at the moment. So within the scope of that sideways market, I'll look for an opportunity to perhaps buy support or play the breakout through resistance, and then in turn buy that. You know, that's going to be that momentum or squeeze play. So overall downtrend, but I could play a little bit of strength near term. And ultimately what that's going to do is possibly lead to a longer term short sell. In other words, we're going to correct with the short-term time frame, which ultimately leads me to a daily resistance level. So notice how I'm able to find multiple setups across multiple time frames, but also understand the way in which they feed each other. And this is just a basic look at how helpful the MTFA scan is for me. It's my favorite part of it. I seldom leave this section, but there's so much more with the scanner. So many of our traders here at Simpler use other sections, but this is definitely my section, the MTFA.